turn your hymn books, if you would, to 222. 222. We'll do some favorites here in a short while. We're going to do first and last. If you have a favorite hymn that's in our hymn book, we will be trying to get in some of those this evening. So 222, doing first and last verses. 222, there is a fountain filled with blood. The Star Spangled Banner, 528.
Stars through the perilous
else with a favorite? Yes, ma'am. 268. I wondered if you'd get to that. 268, How Firm a Foundation. Yes, Ruben. 89. Number 89. Yes, ma'am. 370. Count your blessings. We'll make this the last one. We're going to have a report on the Christmas bag, so it's not quite before the message, but 370, if you can, stand with me. We'll sing all 4 verses. Count your blessings. 370. When upon life's billows you are tempest tossed, when you are discouraged, thinking all is lost, count your many blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord hath done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God hath done. Count they have just finished the Christmas bag project. I have lost track. How many years have you been doing this?
This was 9.
This was 9, so next year is 10. It started off with
10 years ago when I broke my
yeah, 10 years ago when Hannah broke her collarbone hitting a dog, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yep, and having to go into Milling for an operation. Actually, I think I'll let you tell the story because you can tell it better. So, Robin, can you come give us an update on how that project worked for Brazil? And update us, please.
Yes, 10 years. Hannah fell on the 22nd. We were in the Capitol on the 23rd. And nobody wanted her to be in the hospital over Christmas. So they refused to do anything besides immobilize it. They refused to help her. Sent us back home over 50 speed bumps. Anybody that's been between Salinas and Belém knows there were a lot of speed bumps. They've gotten into electronic speed bumps now. And you come into a certain area and you have to slow down and be under a certain speed, and then you can speed back up when you go past their cameras. But anyway, on the 24th, we saw a lot of kids out by the road, and we found out they were out there waiting for somebody to stop and give them a Christmas present. And so Hannah, in great agony and pain, did not get as excited as I did about the project that I dreamt up that day in the car. And 9 years we've now passed out bags. We saw 4 or 5 years ago we did 200. This year we did over 2,500. The Lord has just blessed us. The gifts that we got this year came in early, and I was able to have the book part delivered in, I think it was July. We had books delivered. We added a few steps to the process this year, and so we managed to bring home a little bit of what we used. The bag had this storybook, 180 Bible stories in it, and there are 2 to a page, cute little pictures, that kind of stuff. And we decided that we wanted to try to get pencil cases. One of the problems that we've had in the past years is the pencils come sharpened, and the points would poke through our little plastic bags. And so sometimes they would fall out in the big flour sacks that we would pack them all in. Well, these pencil cases come unassembled. Thank you, Hannah. And we had to fold them all up and tuck the little tabs in and all that stuff. And actually, we did very few. I took my car to get washed one day, and I sat and did them while it was getting washed. We did a few at the house, but most of the people in the church, we would just take them and give them to them by the bags of 50, 100, and they would call and say, "We have them ready. Do you have any more?" And 2,500 of these things got folded. Well, wait, we were waiting on 600 more to be delivered. 1,900 of them got folded in a week. It was literally a week. I could not believe how fast it was. So then we started having groups up to the house to stuff them. There's a glue, a little eraser, a pencil sharpener, 3 pencils, and 2 ink pens. And we stuffed them and then stored them for the few weeks that it took to get the candy in and the popcorn bags in. And then we put, help me here, Hannah, the book, a New Testament, a marker. The book marker basically had our phone numbers on it, offering if they wanted to study the Bible anymore to get in touch with us. And we have had a good response from that already. I'm thinking down the table as we put things together. Colored pencils, a pack of 12 colored pencils, and then this, 2 balloons, a little bag of popcorn, 2 chocolates, a gummy kind of candy, and a little bag of gum. Is that it? And then we close it up and do it. 2,500. We got a little bit overeager in passing them out and had to make up 50 more at the end with little bits of things we had here and there because we had promised more than we had left over. So that's why I say I know we did over 2,500. But this bag is here because I am praying about the possibility, instead of putting them in little plastic bags, little transparent plastic bags, of trying to get something like this bought or made next year. Talking to a friend in Brazil about making them, if we can do it cheaper than we can buy them here and get them down. would become a backpack. You just do that, and we see people carrying stuff like this all the time. For the fathers headed out to work, the kids would have a backpack just like that. And I found these here on Amazon.com for 75 cents each. That's pretty inexpensive. And with the possibility of getting them screen printed, we have friends who do that in Brazil. So anyway, that's just a thought about next year. Let me tell you, we were able to pass them out or give them to people to be passed out in 17 municipalities. And in the car on the way over, we were trying to decide how to explain what a municipality is. It's a small county that is run by a mayor and councilmen. So if you think about the areas around Hagerstown that have their own mayors, that would kind of be the idea, except for there's more land because it's not as densely populated. So we went 150 miles to get into Belém, 150-ish, 130 maybe, I don't know, it's 220 kilometers, 160, yeah, 120 to 120 to 130 miles as far as Belém to the south, and then 120 miles-ish to the west. You go east and it's in the ocean, so it wasn't a complete circle, but 17 different areas, municipalities, and in some of the municipalities, villages, neighborhoods of the main city were reached. So it's a little bit hard to explain their idea of municipalities, but it was a big area that we were able to reach this year. One of the places we drive by every time we head in and out of the Capitol. Little school sitting up, and as most of you know, we try to do a lot of it through the schools because then you get all the children, not just the ones whose houses you can see. The kids that come from way back in, that come out to school, we can reach them this way. But there was this one little school, and I think Hannah probably got tired of me saying, every time we go by, one of these days we're gonna get to that school. One of these days we're gonna get out here. We didn't know the name of the town. We didn't know anything about it. We didn't know anybody there. We just go over one of those wonderful speed bumps, and there's this school sitting up on the hill. So we had to meet a pastor with some bags, and so I said, Hannah, let's go early. We'll try to catch the teacher at the school because most of these schools still have not gone back to in-presence classes yet. So we got there and we drove all around the school, and it was all closed up. And I said, well, we'll figure something out. We'll go on down to the next place and we'll figure something out. So we go down to the next place, and Hannah goes and asks them if they would like these bags. And at first, the people aren't quite too sure about it because they think that we're selling them. And when they find out we want to give them, then they are more than happy to come out to the car and help carry them in. But Hannah started asking, what's the name of that? Well, that place is called Kilometer 15. Doesn't even have a name, and they just call it by how many kilometers it is away from somewhere. Well, what about that teacher? Oh, the teacher's not there today. She had to take her daughter into Belém for a doctor's appointment. Okay, can you tell me her name? Yep, here's her name. We can tell you where she lives too. She lives in this area up there. You'll see it off to the left. It's right beside this and that and the other thing. She's not going to be there. She's in Belém because her daughter has an appointment. Her mother-in-law should be there. You can just go find the mother-in-law of the teacher and leave the things with her and leave all the instructions and all that stuff. So we said, okay. So as we came back through, we got directions from a second person the directions were slightly different, but we did find the place, and the mother-in-law wasn't home. And so we left them in a store with somebody that knew the family and gave them the information and asked them to please get in touch with us to let us know that they had been able to give these bags out. And to the 23rd, something like that, we got pictures that they had been given out in that school. So pray for us. A lot of the devotionals are still sitting in the garage. We just didn't have what it took to do all of the bags and all of the devotionals at the same time. So when we go back, we will go back to these places, to the schools where we pass things out, to the schools where we gave the bags to be passed out. Because unless we had set up a certain time to pass the bags out, we only found teachers there. And the teachers were giving papers and worksheets and stuff to parents. Kids weren't even coming to school to pick up their work. So in some places we got to see everybody, and some places we didn't. So now we will go back with the devotionals and leave the devotionals and see what kind of feedback we get from that. But just pray for us for strength, wisdom how to use our time, and wisdom on how many to pray about getting ready for next year. We could have given out more had we had them, but we had to draw the line somewhere, and it stayed right around 2,500 this year. Okay, good.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.